What have you seen from your linebackers this spring?
I like to see them. We're getting better. We're getting better. The biggest thing I tell them, I gotta see them compete. We're too okay with being average. I'm not okay with that as a coach. I want to be the best. We try to put that on those guys to realize that you think you're working hard, but you're not working hard enough. That's what I try to instill in them. We have to work. We'll become better football players. We'll become better football players. We'll become better linebackers. But that comes, to me, the first part of working harder than that.
Specifically about Will Lucas, when you watch tape from last year, what did you see in this kind of now in the spring?
I think Will is a very athletic linebacker. Okay, he does some things really well naturally. Will has to learn to finish, and Will has to learn to push himself to be better than what he thinks he can be. That's my job as a coach. You think you're working hard, and you think you're the best player you can be. You got to work on where to go. And that's what I tell you. You got some natural talent. You do some natural things that are really, really good. But I got to make you a better player than what you think you can do.
How do you make him the better player?
You push him. You tell him every time, you show him every little thing that he's not doing. When you get to the ball carrier, I tell you use two hands to tag the ball carrier off. You use one, that's not good enough. I tell you to sprint 40 yards across the field to go tag the ball carrier off. You got to sprint 40 yards. And that's the stuff we're trying to get him out of habit. A big thing with Will, I watched film a lot from last year. He often finished on blocks. And as a coach, you never ever want to see one of your guys finishing a play on a block. And that's what I'm talking to him. Every play, get off the block, finish at the block.
Sean Robinson's a guy who, a year ago, he was just learning the position. I mean, do you see that he's, obviously you don't have a comparison, I guess, but that he seems like he's getting it as a linebacker?
Absolutely. He's a smart kid. Yeah. And I think that comes with being a quarterback. You have to know everything as a quarterback. And you can tell he translates the things in the classroom to the field. And that's what he does naturally. He's still at times raw because he's only played linebacker for a year and a half. But he does some things really well. He's a naturally just athletic player. I think he's got a bright future. I think we're going to keep working with him, but he can do some really good things.
How much do you need leadership out of Will? I mean, I know you need it out of all your guys, but maybe Will specifically, senior. And
absolutely. There you go. Yeah. You are as good of a defense or as good as a football team to me as your seniors are. Will is our lone senior. Now, Ruben is a senior, but Ruben to me is a guy that's only been here for 2 years now, a year and a half. So Will's been here. He's been through the wars for 4 years, and to me, that guy has to be the leader of the group. And I push him to be more of a vocal leader. He's good with being a leader by example, which is good. But at the same time, he has to be the guy that at times when things need to be said, he can be the guy to say it. Because a lot of times it means more when a player says, hey, that's not good enough than a coach does. Because coaches are supposed to do that. We're supposed to push you. But when a player says that's not good enough, that means something more to me.
It's early in the spring, and you mentioned he has to do that. Has he been doing that? Would you say he is the leader of the linebacker right now, if you had to pick someone out, or anyone is?
Not yet. Nope. I can't tell you a guy that we have that is the leader. I think Sean Robinson has taken some leadership values at times, and to me that comes from being a quarterback. He knows what it means to be the quarterback. He stepped up at times and said, hey, let's go. And you can tell there's a difference now when Sean Robinson's on the field. You could tell in 6 a.m.s when he wasn't on the field. We missed that leadership, but he's a guy that is naturally a leader because to me he played the quarterback position. We'll become one. We'll make him one. And I won't stop until he becomes one.
Just kind of your thoughts on Joe Gilliam and what you've seen out of him.
Joe's good. Joe will do everything you say, and I got to get Joe to relax a little bit and play football more naturally. I talked about the other guys being natural. To me, I got to get him to be more natural, and he's embraced it. He's a guy that's going to outwork anybody in that room. Anybody in that room, Joe Gilliam will outwork him. And that's, as a coach, that's all you ask for, a guy that's willing to work their butts off to be the best.
How's your special teams going? I can't remember. Do you
I'm
have
on
Loco?
Diesel. The most important play in football. Okay? You'll get to know that. Are you guys coming to kick scrimmage tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, make sure we'll tweet about that later. Yeah, we got the kick scrimmage tomorrow. It's huge. And Diesel is the most important play in football, which is the punt play. That's my unit. I take a lot of pride in that unit because it goes back to my days with Coach Tresser. And he made a huge emphasis on saying, hey, punt is the most important play in football. Why? Because it's the only play you can average 40 yards of field position every single time. There's no other play you can do that. And we put a huge emphasis on that, starting at Ohio State and we went to Kent State and all the way to Purdue. That, to me, is the most important play, and we put the biggest emphasis on that.
When you first heard that, were you skeptical?
Yeah, absolutely. The punt, the most important play in football. Well, until I started coaching the unit, I soon realized. I think my first year at Kent, when I had the unit, we were last in the last in the MAC. We were the last place punt team in the MAC. Then the next year, I realized, you know what, we probably should work a little bit harder, and we became the first team in the MAC. And that's what we're bringing here. We want to be the #1 punt unit in the nation. And we won't stop until we get there.
Will said for the, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Will said for the linebackers, maybe there's a little transition from more of a gap control philosophy to more of a everybody make a play when there's a play to be made sort of philosophy. Has that been a transition for your guys? And can you maybe just elaborate on that?
Yeah, I don't know how the previous coach did it, but watching film, they were huge. No matter what, stay in your gap. Stay in your gap. You know, whereas I am a more of read your key. Once I've done my job, be a football player and get to the ball. I want you to get to the ball. Now, at times, is that going to hurt us? Probably. Okay, but to me, more so than often, we're going to have a chance to make a play, even when we're not covering our gap. We do our job, then let's get to the ball. And that's what I try to get them to do: is read your key, put you in the best position to be successful, now get to the ball and be a football player.
What about some of those younger guys? Armstead Williams looks like he's kind of coming in when you're doing the 3-4, and Andy Garcia seems like he's had some big hits.
Armstead's a young man that's very gifted athletically. He's a guy, to me, that has to mature a little bit. And I told him this, that he has to mature mentally, physically. He has to be a little bit tougher. And Armstead's ceiling now is very high. Okay, he's a guy that he can be a special football player. And Andy Garcia now, his thing is he's tough, but he's little. He is little, and I told him, I said, the question is, can you hold in the Big Ten? This big, physical, running, powerful offenses that you're going to face. Can you hold up? Andy's a little bulldog. I call him a little bulldog. He's a good natural linebacker. You know, he might not be the most athletic, the biggest tall. He just can play ball, and that's how he does it. He goes out there and he's a little bulldog.
Seems like the offense is transitioning to kind of a more of a physical running game. Does that help your linebackers to go against that in practice?
Oh, I love it. I love it. They whoop our butts there. You know, you watch that as a coach, and that's not good enough as a defense. They whooped our tails, but it's good that they're on our team. Okay, that's the same thing. As much as we're going to compete against each other, I want to win in everything we do. But it's good that we're facing those guys, because that's, to me, they are a physical football team. And they spread the ball out, they shift, they motion, they do a lot of different stuff that makes you as a defense understand what you're doing. You can't just get up there and line up, because everything's going to change. But they did a great job today against us.